Home is where you hang your hat. Great movie, by the way. Simgot, or Simgot, probably Simgot. The EA2000 Boson. Now, the EA500 made an appearance in this channel a month or so ago, maybe more than a month ago. And it was one of the ones sitting on the old shelf, and I'm like, oh, Simgot. I've heard of them. They sent me things. And that IEM has one purpose: to scare the shit out of you. It is my, oh, I want to play games. Squad Realistic War Sounds. Oh God. Still to be found in this, but this is a more expensive unit. This unit's $320 or $319 right now. And it's unique. It's very pretty. Like, just the picture on the front of this is like, the justice is not done. I'll pull one out of the old ear hole. Chrome all around. It's got like it's not a Lexan, but it's like a crystal. You could see that there's shadow in there, the logo, and there's a little light pattern behind it, and everything's very shiny, and the wire is super fucking high quality. And then there's the cool things that it does. First of all, I'm going to point to something on the back of this IEM. They don't show it here. They should show it on the back of the IEM. But that is a passive fucking radiator. An actual, like, passive radiator for the air chamber to, like, anyone who knows speakers know that there's a speaker in the front and usually a port in the back. If you don't have a port, you've got another driver with no magnet. So when this one moves in, it moves the other one. It compresses the air, and it all works to tune the thing. So this is the first time I've seen one actively shown off in an IEM. You'll notice the wire spinning because it's MMCX, which is just, it's a Simgo thing. So that's interesting. Interesting thing number one with these IEMs. Interesting thing number two is that it comes with different tuning tips, but not the ones you unscrew from the thing that make the hole in the chamber and no. Instead, oh, you fuck, this is a tuning tip. This is a tuning tip, and the one that's in there right now is a tuning tip. They let you for some reason, they give you one 4.4 that is a specific tuning, and then a 3.5 that is a specific tuning, and then another 3.5 that is a specific tuning. And then I've gone through all the paperwork. They've come with these little piece of cardboard that tells me how to put them in my ears, in case you don't know how IEMs work, how to change the tips, but not what the tips are. Or what are the tips? And if I go to Linsol, which I believe sent this out, if they didn't send it out, then I'll link it directly to Simgo. But they say several things. Number one, it says tuning ratio of low, medium, and high ranges. Just that. And then they say 3 different types of tuning module plug, and that they are vivid, smooth, and clear high range extension. Which one's which? Well, Zeos figured it out through trial and error. At least this is what I think. If I'm wrong, then yell at me in the comments. So they give you 2 3.5s and one 4.4, which just happens to be fucking perfect for this Vioelectric HPA V340, as it has 2 1/4-inch outs and a balance, which I'm adapting with that FIO adapter there. So I was able to just sort of plug and play. You unscrew the shaft, so to speak, you know, as one would. And then you're presented with this very weak coupling, and then you take it off. I say weak coupling because only this one is weak. I would say on like the balance one here, unless I've broken it in, which there's a little notch, and these 4 spring-loaded pins that are actually spring-loaded. So 4 wires to 4 wires that go up to your ears. So that means in here is a physical electronic crossover, which means resistors, and so doing something with the shape of the signal before it heads up the wire and through this rest of the wire. So there's a little notchway, and it's a friction fit with like a fat thing, and it's I just put this one on. I'll plug it in because to take that off takes about 12 pounds of force. For those of you in UK measurements or metric, that's like 3.5 kilograms of like, and I feel, okay, no Jesus shit. So I didn't put on Squad Realistic War Sounds, which is a YouTube video I used to check just ambient gunfire and bullet whizzes and things that we would find in a first-person shooter game, which is how the EA500 came to be famous, at least in my mind. So the 3 tips are gonna murder you with fucking treble, then everything's kind of balanced, and then, okay, this one's the one I like. That's this one. This is the one labeled with an N for N. Then this one's labeled with a C, and then the balanced one is also labeled with a C, but it's completely different from the one that's labeled with a C that's only a 3.5. This one also has, this is black, this is blue, and the other 4.4 is black. Again, just label it. Say what you think it is. The balance connection is the most treble. It's the murder. Here's the thing. It's not murder. It's not like you put it in, you can't use it. If you're okay with or a little less sensitive to treble and you want to get all the detail out of something, absolutely. By the way, I should probably mention at $320, there's a certain line of like quality we have to surpass before I'll even give you the time of day. We're there. All right. This sounds like a 300. This is like, oh, Man Grid T or this. It's fighting with the big boys from a standpoint of any of these tips. And then I would just sit here and fucking around with tips on all the different amplifiers, because that's like, I don't have to review 12 IEMs today. Oh, wait, yes, I do. Because 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then with an adapter 3, and then this one's easy, and then that one's... Just give me 1 IEM, just 1, not 2, 1 to do. All right, this is fucking terrifying. Like, okay, so much like its brother. Now, this has a newly developed 12mm dual magnet circuit and dual chamber. So that means 1 dynamic. This is a single 12mm dynamic. That's a big boy with the passive radiator structure. I don't think they say the size of the passive radiator, but they do say it'll go up to 50 kilohertz, because there are some people who believe, and I should probably mention this in like one of my main channel videos, there are people who believe that just because the human hearing ends at 20,000, it doesn't mean we should stop music there. We should get up to 30, 40, 50,000, because even though we can't hear the thing, our brains can detect it. And that kind of makes sense. We can't see radiation, but we know when our fucking skin's burning in the sun. And it might be something to do with audio, where if we have signals happening above our like perceptible hearing, our imperceptible hearing might do shit and put us in a weird state of mind and make us go on a murderous rampaging spree like in The Happening. The trees did it, by the way. Okay, I fucked up. I was slowly turning this and it's like, boop, 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 cannon fire. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. For a dynamic, this is a very dynamic. I know those words. With the passive radiator, I actually find this a little bit smoother on the, I'll put back the tip I like the least, which is the blue tip. Which there's little dots to line it up, and if you don't do it right, you got to spin it until you find the notch, and then it's like squeeze the shit out of it. And when you're like trying to take it apart, there's not much to grab here, so you're grabbing the wire, and it's all bad. It's all bad. Yeah, that's better. The balance plug is like, you want all the detail. All the impact of everything mid-range and above, slam it into my fucking eyes. This one, this is my one I like, right? The N is the one I like. So the C sort of brings everything more into the middle. It's a little less soundstagey, if that makes any sense, but it could just be from going from balanced to unbalanced. Still punchy in the sounds, but not like tear your fucking face off. And keep in mind, I'm analyzing this for you guys with just... there's the thing where I have to yank it real hard. Squad Realistic War. I feel like if you unplugged and plugged these in multiple times, it'd probably get worn, and then you just have to use the collar to hold it in place. I'll pull that out so it's not fucking with it. And that's the one that's the least treble murder. It's just smooth, balanced. Gunshots are happening, but I'm not crapping my pants. It's a very interesting thing to go, because none of these sound bad. None of these 3 tips on any of these amplifiers sound bad. They're just biasing it detail or kind of balanced or just smooth. Like they just say roll off the top. And I would listen constantly with the rolled off one. It's just my style. If I'm going to listen to music, which is usually what the deal is, for 2-3 hours straight, I don't need to hear all the details if it's going to make me fatigued. I want to just smooth it out, which is what that tip does. If I was going to play a competitive game, you know, against other people for fucking money, taking the balance on with all the detail, because I need to know exactly where the fuck you are. I don't know if I should be pushing this as a gaming IEM, but this other Simgos, we're just this tuning. The end. This one actually gives you a chance to stop and listen to something on like a softer amplifier here. I should put the, I'll put the screw on. They're very sensitive, by the way. So this is on low gain. We'll get off of War Sounds. Yeah, no, I can get to like there, and it's going to be fine. I did notice a couple of them. Well, actually, with different tips, the resistance changes. I plug one in, unplug it, plug another one in, and all of a sudden the volume is different because whatever they're using inside of it to do the frequency cutoffs or changes is absorbing some of the power. Just a little bit, just a little bit. I miss the soundstage of the balanced one. But man, oh man, is this just nice and smooth. It sounds like a proper 12mm dynamic. It's got low end that isn't like gonna murder your face low end. So what do I have in here for like low end? Do I have anything? I don't know what any of this is. It's, all right, the fact that there's a passive radiator and that this is unique makes me really question if what I'm hearing is due to that or due to something else. Because, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a closed back headphone with a lot of bass. The bass is happening. Dark Side Megatron is happening, and it's just a omniscient whoa. But it never feels like I'm being pressured by it. This could very well be the solution to people who have that issue where they put an IEM in and they feel like I still can't hear through it, like I'm talking right now and I could still hear myself a little bit, but it's not like an open back. But the bass notes, when the bass notes kick hard, it doesn't seem to put that pressure like the Rinkos do, or something that's just like a true closed IEM, fuck you. This feels like it's got something else, like a pressure relief. And that alone is going to put it in a category for people who are going to like, I kind of want to buy something, but I'm always annoyed by the low end. Not the craziest amount of low end. It's not like the Focus, despite being a 12mm dynamic with a passive radiator. But it's certainly lovely. Skip ahead. Where's my best bass profile? Yeah, no, absolutely 100%. Vocals are clear, crystal clear, even with the quote-unquote dull tip. Vocals are crystal clear. I hear every bell. Soundstage never really goes away. It's lessened by... Maybe I'm hearing things. Four Wild Horses by David Munyon. Ride his hail to misery. Let's put on Perfect Circle Lullaby, because that's a bass song. Yeah, no. If you are a bass head, here's the rule. If you're a bass head, I'm okay with you existing. You know, I don't want to round you up or anything. But take care of your hearing and your ears and no limitations. I love these for bass heads. Because I am pushing... too loud, just bass, and it's not like, it doesn't feel like my head's gonna explode. And then the treble's creeping in enough to like limit you, like you can't go. You could, as with the softer tip, I'm getting louder than I could if I went on this one or this one. I would just be physically limited to how loud I could turn that knob before blood. Yeah, no, that's sweet. That's a nice, I don't know how it's Oh, wait. I know how it's doing it with the bass. There's a fucking passive radiator on here. It's just a matter of... Jeez. Does it do anything? It has to do everything else to get to a $300 price point. I think it does low end better than most in the range if you want that specific, comfortable bass. I don't know if that's a thing. It's the first time I've experienced this sort of thing with a passive radiator, so we're just going to call this comfortable bass. And then you have your choice of detail options, whether you want way too much or maybe just a little bit too much or, you know, slightly subdued. So we're in that range. Everything about it, the sound stage, the presentation, the imaging, all at least equal up to the cost, and then the look. And then you're back to the look of just like, ooh, that's fucking fancy. If you don't like MMCX, okay, I could see that being a turnoff. But at the same time, it comes with a really, really, I mean, it has to be a nice wire. You're going to be yanking on it constantly. Oh, and I kept the little Velcro thing on it because apparently Simgot's slogan is salute to art and science. So there you go. So yeah, I'd give these a reco. If you are someone who is annoyed by bassy IEMs, just the way they feel on you, but you want bass, these. If you want something that you're like, you know what, I just want to be able to take the treble down a little bit because I'm always a little bit bothered by treble. If you're bothered by treble, you're only going to use one of these tips. If you're not bothered by treble, you have 3 tips to choose from. Probably the neutral, normal one, the extended fucking 4-pin 4.4 Pentacon, and this one that's like a little bit softer. Like if I was going to go on a long journey, soft one. If I'm playing video games, hard one, or the other one if I only have a 3.5 millimeter. Mouse pad, cute cats in the description. Her changing, see, she's changing, just like this can change. It's all part of the system. Available in the wallpaper Horde. And, oh, here's the case, by the way. I keep forgetting to do the cases on these. It does have a spot for all 3 heads, which is silly because you're never going to have all 3 off of it. You're always going to have one probably on it. But it's interesting little case. It's got a little thing on the back, and it's got the magnet there. And it says Simgot, and it's real thick. Anything else I got to talk about? No, the box. The box did a cool thing. Look, it says Bus. It says Bus. Ooh. Salute to the great pioneers What? Okay, I should read the box. Salute to the great pioneers of constructing quantum theory. They're really into it. They're really into it. Here's what this stuff was, the different tuning tips. It's a nice case. Anyway, I'm done, you're done, we're done. Thank you. I'll see you in another one in 2 days. Way to go, Simgot. You've made quality products.